All right, we're starting off laying down. So take your time. Just want to take a few minutes to transition and just be still. So let those eyes close. Let your breath get big and long. Big inhale through your nose. Big exhale. And take several rounds of big breath, just slowing it down, lengthening it out. It's so important just to take a few moments during the day just to be still and listen to the world around you. Listen to the moment. Just allow yourself to experience the moment passing via sensations in your body, sounds, even observing your thoughts, just being present in this moment. Take a little time. Notice the feeling of the breath coming in and out. That's always a really good place to start when you're wanting to just root yourself in the moment. And this is really the basis of our practice, right? Just being present with what is right now and being super aware of breath. Okay, so I love to start here, just breath and being still. And just bring some more awareness to the musculature of your breathing. There's so much going on just with each breath, okay? With the inhales, your chest has to expand open, the muscles have to spread wide, the spaces between your ribs get a little broader, okay? Your belly muscles puff open and outward, and then also everything on the side of your body and the back of your torso too. All of that tissue expanding outward with the inhale. So see if you could feel that expansion with each breath. And with your exhales, all of that is going to wrap back in toward the center. And this is so important when we're focused on supporting that low back, right? Exhale all the air out. And with each exhale, think of all the muscles that wrap around your middle, contracting inward. And when we really strengthen those muscles on our exhales, we're supporting the low back and just giving it a better supported life overall. Okay, keep that low back happy. So let's take a few more just like that, expansive inhales. Strong belly muscle exhales. To where you almost feel your belly button pulling down toward the ground at the bottom of your exhale. And you can use this breath anytime you think about it, whether you're driving, practicing yoga, working, doing dishes, sleeping. You can always use that expansive long inhale and that strong exhale to ground yourself and just take care of the muscles of your torso and your low back support. So let's keep this long, slow breath that we've cultivated. We want to keep focused on how we're feeling right now. We'll add in some movement. Bend your knees here and bring your feet up and in by your hips. So those knees point up. And I like to take the arms into a cactus shape here. And then give your shoulder blades a nice tuck underneath you so that your chest feels big and broad toward the ceiling. Okay, your big heart. And so keeping your cactus arms really pressing onto the floor, we'll start to windshield wiper the knees side to side. So gentle and slow, just nice and easy. And you can let them drop as far toward the floor as you like. And I like to take the feet a bit wide here, wider than a mat, but you might like yours more hip width, and you can experiment with how that feels. Okay, notice the hips and the low back, getting a gentle wringing out. We're always noticing how this feels. And keep breathing. Okay, you can make the movement a little more firm as your lower body kind of wakes up and loosens up. You can draw the knees downward with a bit more strength if you like, and start looking away from your knees. So once you look away from your knees, you're essentially taking that twist all the way up your spine and really massaging and wringing out your whole entire torso. So just beginning to wake up your whole spine here and your whole back. Keep that big breath moving. I like to exhale on the twist and inhale through center. Okay, hopefully you feel your body kind of waking up with this kind of a total body movement here. And let's deepen the twist. Go ahead and bring the knees to point up and pause them there. And then pick your feet up, put your knees together, gluing your legs together to be one. Now we can take the twist a little more deep. Keep your shoulders and your upper body grounded. And then hover your knees to one side. Go ahead and look away from them and hover. Remember to keep those shoulders grounded. Go ahead and bring your knees through center and hover them to the other side. So we just changed the depth of the twist. So you're just looking away from your knees still, inhaling through center and exhaling to go to the other side. And I want to encourage you to continue to press against the floor with your upper body, because that's where you're going to get the stability for this twist to be effective, and really allow it to roll into your middle back, opening up your ribs. And the next time those knees are back at center, go ahead and pause them right there. Okay, now we're going to do a little core work just to get your core warm. Also, I think you guys have heard me say so many times, when we're working with the low back, which is one of our focuses today, we always want to make sure we're strengthening the front, okay, whatever's in front of the low back. So we're strengthening the core and the abs to support and protect the low back. So here we go. Go ahead and reach your fingers up. Your knees are just about over your hips. And then if it feels okay with your neck, go ahead and peel your head and shoulders up. But I want you to pretend like your neck and your head are still laying down. So that neck is long and it's not crunching in any direction. And we're going to play with a dead bug shape. It's not a very nice name, but it's great for your core. Go ahead and extend your right leg and your left arm away from each other. See if you can hover them just off the ground, and then bring them back into center. Okay, inhale here, extend the left leg and the right arm away from each other. And then exhale, bring them back into center. Again, right arm, right leg, left arm, inhale. Exhale to center. Switch sides, opposite arm and leg. And exhale. Now let's keep this going. I want to do a few more with you. If you need a break, you can drop your head and just do it like that, okay? If everything's feeling great, stick with it. Maybe pull that belly button a little further down and lift your shoulders a little higher. Keep breathing. Back to center. Let's do 3 more on each side. Inhale. Back to center. Inhale. And exhale. Use that strong core so you can have a more supported low back. It's great for digestion and posture. Nice and slow. One more on each side. Reach. Bring it back to center. And reach. And bring it back to center. Nice. Here, tuck behind your knees and just rock yourself all the way up to a seat. Whew. Okay, shake that off. Hopefully feeling some nice warmth in your core. Okay. And then from here, we'll just get into a little more warming up shoulders and hips. So go ahead and drop your knees to one side. Drop your hands to the side as well. You can roll it over to hands and knees. Okay, take your time here. We want hands under shoulders, of course, pushing that floor with an active upper body. And we want the belly muscles active as well. So you're thinking about wrapping up your low back. I like to think of wrapping gift wrap around it. Okay, nice and tight, so that the low back doesn't dip and we just lose all of our core work. So we want to keep that core strong. So from here, tuck your toes and hover your knees just off the mat. And I'm going to challenge you just a little bit here to hover those knees. And if you ever need to drop them, you know you can. Okay, take a big breath in here with me. Knees are hovering, strong belly, strong arms. And with your exhale, press the floor away from you. Lift those hips up to a downward facing dog with your tail high in the air. Now you may keep your knees more bent here, and that's fine. Let's do it again. Little challenge for your body. Inhale for that hovering knee. And exhale, press it up to a downward facing dog. We're going to do it a few more times. Inhale to hover. Exhale, down dog. Let's do 3 more. Inhale, hover. Feeling those arms wake up. Exhale, down dog. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. Inhale, hover. And exhale. Press it up to a downward facing dog. So you're probably feeling some warmth in your legs and your arms. Go ahead and walk your hands back towards your feet here. Bend those knees nice and generously. And just hang. You could shake your head. Really kind of sway here. Okay, giving that low back a chance to just traction out. Okay. We can literally add space to that spine just by hanging it. So inversions like this, when you're inverting your head and your heart below your hips, super powerful, just using upper body weight to lengthen that spine. So let's do a little rolling here. Find stillness in your feet and your legs. Push down into your heels. And we're going to roll up nice and slowly. So push down, lift your heart. Think of lifting your hands way up high. Big breath in. And exhaling here, hinge it all the way down. Okay, bend those knees, let your head hang. Let's do that 2 more times, just rolling it up. Inhale, like a floppy person. Rising up nice and tall. And exhale, roll it down, bend those knees. Let the head hang. 1 more just like that. Inhale, roll it up. And exhale, hinge it down. All right, palms are down here. Let's walk those hands forward. And then just bring it down to hands and knees from here. Okay, so one of my favorite ways to get into that low back is a low lunge. So let's go ahead and step the right foot forward by the right hand. And you could come up on your fingertips if you like here, just to give yourself a little bit of extra space to maneuver. And you might enjoy moving the left knee back, okay? Some folks are gonna need to pad that knee, so take your time. You have time to do whatever you need. You can double your mat if you want, stick it under that left knee, whatever you need to do. So once you feel comfortable here, start to use that right knee to press yourself up to a low lunge, okay? And so you're just kind of allowing your hips to sink toward the floor, but not without some activity in the legs, right? We need at least a little bit of activity. So both legs are pressing against the floor. Hopefully you can feel how that really brings the stretch or the lunge to life for you. And also pull those knees inward toward each other. I like to think of a pair of scissors. That's what your legs are trying to do. Okay, so get that nice and strong, okay? Strong but gentle. And we're just gonna reach up here, big breath in, lift your heart up toward the ceiling. And then playing with this shape, exhale here, drop your fingers under your shoulders and pull your hips back. You can think of pointing your right toes at your nose. So let's do it again. Inhale back to that low lunge, arms up, right foot on the floor, active legs. Maybe lift that heart. And exhale, fingertips under shoulders, pull your hips back. One more like that. Big breath in, coming on up. Okay, hold right here for a moment. Just gonna enjoy this lunge. If you're feeling pretty good here, you can stay. If you wanna support yourself with the hands on the right leg, you can do that too. Just kind of back out of it. But if all is going well, you might take your hands behind you and move them away from you so your chest feels big. Let's just take some nice breath here in this low lunge. Maybe 3 or 4 more breaths, gently pushing that floor down, always. Maybe close your eyes. Feel the right hamstring letting go, the left hip flexor, and just preparing your hips for more spaciousness. From here, let this go. Go ahead and drop those fingertips underneath your shoulders again and pull back on the hips again, okay? Point those right toes up at your nose. And we'll play around a little bit with this shape, okay? Get a really nice flex in your foot, okay? Really strong flex. If you want to bend your right knee to give yourself more space here, that can give you a lot more room to move around. So feel free to bend that right knee. But continue to pull back on the right hip. The right hip is moving toward the back of your space. And think about moving your left hip toward the front of your space. And we want to start to feel some opening along the whole back of the right leg. But let's play with that. What if we could change where we feel that opening and kind of fine tune it? Start rocking on that right heel, pointing the toes to the right and the left. As you move, think of always pulling that right hip back, okay? Notice you can move the stretch from the inner thigh through the hamstring to the outer hip and IT band, okay? And so maybe find a spot that feels particularly pleasant or right. Sometimes it just feels right on a certain spot, okay? Maybe if everything's going great, you want a great IT band stretch, you point those toes out to the right. Okay, you want to keep your flex in your foot. Don't let the ankle get soft. So keep that flex and maybe walk your hands out to the right as well. Okay, that's a great IT band outer hip stretch. Take your time coming back through center, and we'll let this one go. Hands down underneath shoulders. Again, we can bend into that right knee, and we'll take it back through hands and knees, and I'll meet you in a downward facing dog again. Get those hips up in the air, shake it off. Walk out your heels. Maybe notice difference between right and left leg. Who knows? Okay, just a little palate cleansing vinyasa here. We'll just take a little movement. So feel free to come along or take a little break if you need one. All right, with your inhale, move your heart forward. Find a little plank pose. And you can drop your knees if you need to. With your exhale, walk to your hands and fold. Bend those knees. Inhale here, roll yourself up. Stuck in your vertebrae. The back body pulling your front body all the way up. Reach those hands high. And exhale, hinge and fold it all the way down. You can bend your knees. With your inhale, just come halfway up. Just think about looking past the front of your space with your long spine. And with your exhale, fold really deeply. Hug your legs. Palms come down here. With your inhale, step your feet back and find a plank pose. Remember to drop those knees if you need to. And with your exhale, come all the way down, slowly. Okay, keep it going through your vinyasa. With your inhale, pull back on your hands, lift that heart up and open, little cobra shape. And with your exhale, push the floor away and come up to hands and knees. And I'll meet you here. So we'll just do the other side. Okay, other side, low lunge. Let's get the left foot forward by the left hand. And up on your fingertips, maybe just for a little extra space. We're probably gonna wanna move that right knee back, at least a little. And feel free to pad it or whatever it needs. Okay, once you are comfortable and you're confident in your low lunge, then use that left knee to come on up. Okay, remember you can always come down and you can always use the left knee, it's always there. But the main thing that we always want to work on in this low lunge is just remembering to keep the legs active. I have a really hard time remembering. I get kind of lazy, so I have to remind myself, push down and pull the knees inward. So in every standing posture, even in the seated postures, we're still resisting the floor. So push down, pull together, and we can move with our strong base. So inhale here, lift that heart up and open. Think of spreading open your chest. Exhale here, fingertips down under shoulders. Pull those hips back. Think of really flexing that left foot like you want it to touch your toes with your nose. And let's do it again. Inhale, left foot on the floor. Sweep those hands up and overhead. Big breath in. Spreading open in your Anjaneyasana. And exhale, fingertips down, pull those hips back. Half split, Hanumanasana. One more, we'll hold this time. Inhale here up to your low lunge, and let's just enjoy it and just be in it for a bit, okay? So resisting the floor, those knees are trying to snap together so the legs are active where they need to be. And if you like, you can join your hands behind here, move them away, and get that great shoulder and chest opening feeling. Wherever you are, breathe and smile. We're so lucky to have the time and space to practice yoga this way. We're so lucky. How about one more big breath here, expanding your heart, pushing that floor away. And then we'll let it go. Fingertips under shoulders, pull back on that left hip to the half split, okay, the half Hanumanasana. Here, you might, because we're a little bit warm here, you might increase the distance between your 2 feet. You could scooch the back knee back if you like. But I want you to really dig into that left heel and pull back on that left hip. Think of sending the right hip forward as well. And flex here, and you can start to play with rolling side to side on that heel. Okay, so I do want you to keep at least a micro bend in the knee. So if you notice that you need to bend it, please do. If you notice that you tend to lock it, then put at least a little softness. We're just gonna try to avoid locking our joints for now and the rest of our lives. Not just in a yoga class. Okay, so notice that stretch can roll from the inner thigh to more of the outer hip. Okay, if you like, you can rock onto the left edge of that left foot. Keep it flexed in the ankle, and you can walk your hands out to the left. And we'll take a few breaths here. Keep pulling back on that left hip. Feels good in that outer hip. As you're ready, we'll bring it back through center. Okay, come on through. Hands back underneath shoulders. We'll bend that left knee. Bring it back to hands and knees. Come up through downward facing dog here. Take a moment. Walk those heels out. Shake your head. Yes, with your head. And no. Okay, notice how the two legs feel. Hopefully you're feeling some extra freedom in the backs of the right and left legs now. And let's cleanse the palate with that same little vinyasa we did before. So feel free to come along or take a break. We'll meet in down dog. Inhaling here, find your plank. Long plank, we can drop the knees if we want. And exhale to your hands, fold here. Bend those knees and hug them. Roll it up on your inhale. Push into those heels. Stack your bones. Lift your hands. And exhale. Hinge it all the way down. On your inhale, come halfway up. Unroll your spine. Look forward. You can bend your knees. And with your exhale, fold very deeply. Hug your knees. Palms are down here. Inhale and step your feet right back to a plank. Okay, you can use your knees if you like as you exhale and hover yourself all the way down. Okay, little cobra coming next. So with your inhale, pull back on your hands. Lift that heart just as high as you like, cobra. And with your exhale, tuck your toes. You can come up with your hands and knees, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Take some time here in your down dog, just breathing and pushing the floor away. We won't spend a whole lot more time in down dog. So I just kind of want to get a good dose. I want you to feel the elbows pulling inward toward each other, pushing the floor away with hands and feet. And if you notice, like I sometimes notice I'm myself doing, if you notice your spine kind of rounding here, put a bend in your knees, lengthen that spine by trying to look forward at your hands and then see if you could extend your legs from there. Okay, so there's always little tricks we can play around with. Take a few more breaths right here. All right, as you're ready from here, walk your feet all the way to your hands. And let's walk the feet out a little wider than your hips are. You can bend your knees nicely here and turn those toes out a little bit too. And start to drop your hips down low here, coming into a malasana squat. Okay, one of my favorite low back help postures. So I'm just gonna turn slightly so that you can see that my feet are a little more than hip width and the toes turn outward, and you can kind of play around with what works best for you. It's different for everyone. But hopefully here you're feeling a nice low back release. You can use your hands in front to keep yourself more stable, or you can put your hands together. It's really up to you. But I want you to make your legs active. So once you get in the posture, you're settled in, push the legs down into the floor, and remember that pulling together feeling in your knees, okay? And that's where we're really gonna get the squat to come to life and be effective. So remember, push down, pull the knees inward, and maybe you walk those fingers out a little further. You can let your spine round here and hopefully get a nice release way down at the bottom of your spine. So if you're not really getting a lot, that's okay. Everyone's body is so different, but I find if I'm really pushing in my heels and pulling those knees inward, I can get more. Okay, we're also going to try here walking the hands out to one side. Take a few breaths here. Walk the hands out to the other side and take a few breaths over there. Keep pushing down, pulling together. All right, bring those hands back in through center. And then bring your hands back up underneath your shoulders here. You're gonna slowly lift your hips back up toward the sky. Okay, gingerly bend out your knees. And we'll get a little bit more into your low back here. So walk your feet together, bend your knees, and just come down to a seat. All right, so we'll get into some double pigeon here. And I'll turn to face you. So we'll start with the left leg bent out in front of you at about a right angle, okay? And I like to think of the left shin here just being parallel with the front of your space or wherever you're facing, okay? And then lean back. Okay, just makes it a little easier if you lean back to do this. And stack your right ankle on top of your left knee, okay? And take a little time just to see how that could feel. So now we have both knees bent at right angles and the shins are essentially stacked. Okay, that's why this is called stacked logs pose. So you might just stay leaning back here and that's fine. I want you to really flex your ankles though, okay? And do resist the floor with your legs and still try to pull those knees toward each other. So if you feel pretty good here, you can sit up nice and tall and allow the legs to kind of soften into this position. This is one of those postures where when you start doing it in the first 30 seconds, it totally changes minute by minute. Okay, so you could stay here for a long time. For the purposes of our time together today, we'll just spend maybe a couple minutes here, but I'll give you some things to think about. First of all, if you can't stand it, you can just lean back. So easy to get out. But if everything's feeling good, really flexing your feet, really stack the top and bottom shin so that you can hardly see the bottom. And you can even take your arms and stack them too, like genie arms, and put them on top of your stacked legs. And remember to breathe. So maybe a few more minutes here. We're getting into your outer hip, wrapping up into your low back. Breathe into those places wherever you feel it. If it feels right, you can take your hands out front of you and use your fingers to push the floor down, pushing your hips back, like you wanted to move them away from your fingers. Remember the flex in your feet. Sometimes the flex tends to get a little soft. You can let your head hang here. Just keep the neck nice and long. All right, how about one more breath here? It feels nice just to allow the legs and the hips and this low back just to be in this posture. But I encourage you to try this at home sometimes for several minutes and see how you feel. Go ahead and walk your hands back up and in towards center. And we're going to keep the right leg over the left. We're going to move a little more deeply into another posture. Okay, cow face posture. Super simple. Just lean back. Okay. And with your right hand, or actually makes more sense with your left hand, move your right foot further to the left and just put it on the floor, okay? So that your knees come really close and your thighs. So take a moment there, knees and thighs close. And to make this more gentle, you can move your feet really close to your hips. You can tuck them in, okay? But I do want both of your hips on the ground, okay? So keep that in mind. Both hips down, knees together. So lean back while you're figuring it out. It takes me a little fidgeting. But notice how that right hip wants to come up. We're gonna need to put a little extra effort into putting it down. So do that. And then if you can, go ahead and sit up nice and straight. If you need to lean back, you can stay there. We'll be here for a minute or two. So close your eyes, breathe deeply, and just be in the posture. Okay? What are you noticing? What kind of sensations are arising here? I want you to give some activity into your legs. So do gently push down against the floor, please. Gently pull the knees toward each other and find the posture come to life. Okay, I like to combine this one with a little side bending and twisting. Okay, so once you have your hips nice and grounded, if you're sitting up nice and tall, awesome, keep the legs active. Start walking your right fingertips over to the right. And let's get that left arm up and over for a big side stretch. Remember, you can look wherever feels right. All right, but make sure both hips are grounded, of course. And then you can actually use the right fingertips to push that left hip a little further into the ground. All right, keep your long neck, and we're going to go on a little journey. Drop those left fingers next to the right. Feel that stretch all across the back. From the left side of your rib cage down into your left and right low back here. Nice stretch. So here's the little journey. We're going to start walking the fingers around you in a circle. Your arms are the radius of the circle. And once your hands are out in front of your knees, pause there and enjoy. Take a little time. Push the fingers down into the floor. Ground those hips and breathe. Remember to keep the legs active. All right, we'll keep the journey going here. Keep the circle going over to the left. Now, you can take the hands as far as you like until you feel the perfect stretch across your back body. And breathe. All right, just for symmetry here, we'll get that right hand up and over, reaching out to the left for a really lovely right side stretch. Now keep that right hip grounded and use the left hand to actively push the floor. And remember, your long neck is always important. Okay, from here, take your time. Come up and out. Go ahead and drop your hands behind you. And you could kick your legs out. Oh, they're probably a little bit noodly, so a nice shake is in order. And we're just gonna switch sides. Okay, we're gonna do the double pigeon or the stacked logs, and we'll do a cow face on the other side. So this time, the right leg will be the bottom leg. So go ahead and bend that right knee in front of you, make that right angle, and lean back on your hands. Just makes it easy. Okay, flex that right foot, very important. Flex the left foot and stack that left ankle on top of the right and start to try and stack up your shins. Okay, are you different on the left side from the right? I bet you are, okay? Most people are. So always notice. It's super important to notice those things about your body. Okay, once you feel a bit more settled in, you might feel comfortable sitting up or you might just want to stay leaning back. So do however feels best. Wherever you are, flex those ankles, actively resist the floor with your legs and pull those knees toward each other gently. And just be. Close your eyes here and just be here. Notice your left outer hip, okay, up into your left low back. If you want to make genie arms and stack them on top of your legs, that's a nice little variation. Remember to breathe. There's a lot of sensation that we store in the hips and the low back. Okay, so things might come up. Just keep breathing and notice what is. It's possible you want to walk your fingers out in front of you, okay? But remember to push those hips away, get that low back nice and long. All right. Take your time, there's no rush. Walk yourself up and out. Okay, getting ready to transition to a cow face pose. Okay, Gomukhasana. So you can lean back again, just to make this a little more approachable. Use your right hand to move your left ankle over to the right, okay? You just put that left foot on the ground. You don't have to be picky about the ankle being flexed or anything. Lean back while you work on getting both hips down. Notice the left one takes a little extra effort. And get the knees as close as you like. Okay, too much can be too much, so feel free to play around. If you feel comfortable, sit up tall and just breathe. Close your eyes. When we bring these knees really close together, we're really spreading open the back part of your pelvis, your sacrum. Okay, you feel a lot of nice spaciousness there. So just breathe into that. Keep your strength in your legs, of course, your activity always. And we'll play around with a little movement from here. So getting those left fingers to walk out to the left. Okay, take some time here, right arm up and over, stretching out that right side. Remember, your neck remains long no matter what. And you're breathing no matter what. Take your time as you're ready. Drop those right fingers next to the left and breathe into that whole back side of your right rib cage. Big openings back there behind the shoulder blades. The bigger the breath here, the better. Okay, we're gonna take our circle back the other way, the same way we did before. Okay, with long arms, fingers walking toward the front of your space, toward being in front of your knees. So walk those fingers until they're in front of your knees, and let's hold it here. Push that floor, breathe. Remember to lengthen your neck. And let's take it all the way back over to the right. So walk those hands over to the right here. Take them as far as you like until you feel the perfect left rib stretch back there. And then for symmetry, let's get that left arm up and over, reaching to the right. Ground that left hip. All right, as you're ready, bring yourself back up out of this. You can lean back on your hands, kick out your really noodly legs. Give them a good shake. Okay, we did some really great work in the lower body today, some great low back release, twisting, hips. Okay, let's get a little bit more into your hamstrings and the backs of your legs here. Okay, go ahead and extend your legs. And sit up nice and tall. And same thing here, you can use your hands to lean back on while you're just getting settled in. Sometimes if it's difficult to extend your legs and sit up straight, you can choose to just bend your knees a little so that you can sit up straight, okay? And that will still be pretty much the same thing. So try that bend in the knees if you need it, but sit up nice and tall here. And we're gonna think of moving the heart towards the toes. So take your time. Think of walking your fingers out maybe 1 inch per breath and then pause. And then maybe walk those fingers out a little bit more, who knows? But there's no rush here, and just keep those legs active. As always, keep them active against the floor and slightly drawing those knees inward. Keep breathing. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, push the floor with those legs. It doesn't have to be hard to be effective. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, push the floor down with those legs. So here, just keep breathing, keep inhaling long, exhaling push. I want you to feel the whole backside of the body spreading open, very soft, very gentle. And then take your time. We're gonna roll up out of this. So walk your hands back up by your hips and slide that right foot up in with you. So grab the right knee, point it up, press that right foot down next to your hips. Okay, grab that right leg and give it a squeeze with your arms. And think of lengthening your spine as you pull that knee towards your heart. Okay, if this is feeling pretty good, take your right fingers behind you and take your left elbow to the outside of that right knee for a nice deep twist, looking over that right shoulder. And let's take some breath right here. Just twisting. Long spine on your inhales. Push the floor with your legs on the exhales. Nice twist to really massage and recalibrate your spine. Okay, twists are also great for massaging your organs. Remember those strong belly muscles on your exhales. Maybe one more breath here. And then move it back through center. We're just going to switch sides. So extend the right leg, pull the left knee in, and just hug it for a moment while you sit up tall, thinking of hugging that left knee in. And then you can drop left fingers behind you, looking over that left shoulder for a twist. Nice deep twist with that right elbow outside the left knee. So feel free to play around with how deep you want your twist to be. But if you do go deeper, I want you to breathe more deeply. So find those big inhales. Find those strong belly exhales. And remember to resist that floor. All right, take your time coming back through center. All right, take your hands behind you here. You can put both feet on the floor, just enough bend in your knees to have those feet on the floor. Hands behind you, you can have your fingers pointed back at you. And then let your elbows bend so that you come down onto your elbows, underneath your shoulders with those elbows. Okay, a little fidgeting is in order here just to get yourself in place. But we want to be sure that the elbows are under the shoulders. Once you're settled in, push down into the floor. So push your elbows down like you wanted to punch a hole in the floor with each elbow. Think of lifting that big heart up and open. And let's hold it right here in a fish pose. So you're arching your big belly open, kind of like the shape of a fish's belly. Okay. And you can keep it quite gentle by keeping your chin in by your chest, almost like you're trying to look at your belly button. Okay. All right, if everything's going pretty well and you feel comfortable, okay, continue to drive those elbows down into the floor and then keep your chin tuck, okay? Keep that tuck because that's what's going to keep your neck safe and neutral. So always the chin tuck, but think of dropping the back of your skull toward the floor maybe. Keep your tuck. So you should always be able to talk and breathe. Take a few more breaths, just exploring this aspect of fish pose maybe. Big chest all the time. It's so big, that heart moving up. When you're ready to come out, just pull that chin back in towards your chest if you dropped your head. And then move the elbows out away from each other. Come all the way down to the floor and extend your legs. It's time to rest. We did it. Okay, great low back care session. So now is the culmination of our practice, Shavasana. Arms and legs long and soft. And here's where we let go of controlling the breath's pace and depth. Just let go of the breath. Return to your natural breath. Your body knows what to do. Watch the natural breath come in effortlessly. Watch the natural breath go out effortlessly. Everything you need right here. This is it. Breath coming in, breath going out. How miraculous. Feel your body softening, okay, and letting go as well. No more effort in your body. No more sense of doing, just being. Notice the sensations in your arms and legs as your muscles let go more and more. Soften your bones and let them fall more heavily like stones. Allow any resistance to gravity or any resistance to just being here with what is melt away. Breathing in, notice this moment. Breathing out. What a wonderful moment. It's so important to take some time just to be still and be with what is. And this is available to you anytime. It can give you a great deal of peace, a sense of harmony with what is, just being there. So I hope that you will continue resting for as long as you can. The longer, the better. But this is where I'll leave you today. Thanks so much for joining me.